to hear like the Genesis story, right?
Yeah, like where all of a sudden you're like, all right, I hired a mentor, and then all of a sudden I was doing 30 deals a month. Like, there's something's missing here. Where did you're going to college with John.
This was not an overnight success.
No,
right?
of course not.
I know you're going to college with John. I know you're not studying every night and getting straight A's. So where's the motivation come from, and how did you get?
What was like the epiphany moment?
Dude,
Yeah.
so I think that like at the end of the day, first off, like my upbringing wasn't necessarily that great, right? It was kind of like, if you want something, you got to go and get it, right? So even at a young age, it was like, dude, you want that? Figure out how you're going to make it happen, right?
I love
so that's really what I was doing, is like, by any means necessary, I was just trying to grind. I was trying to make money. I was trying to do whatever I can. But what really like set the fire under my ass is like right after college, right? I got into a lot of trouble and I was potentially facing jail time. And I think that's what ultimately like lit the fire under my ass, because at the end of the day, I was like, dude, listen, I'm going to be successful by any means necessary. And like, if shit hits the fan, right, and I end up doing time, like, it is what it is, but I at least know like everything happens for a reason, right? So if that was the case, right, I know that it was for the greater purpose. But at the end of the day, like, that was really what sparked the fire under my ass, because it was like do or die almost. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm glad that you were super transparent about that, because it was the same thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
I got into trouble. I almost faced some prison time, right? And at that moment is when I found God. And God was like, yo, you better get into real estate right now.
Hell yeah.
And without that traumatic experience, without trauma in childhood, then I really wouldn't be where I am today. To be a successful entrepreneur, I believe you need to go through some shit.
Yeah, dude, you got to hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
I think every one of us has somewhat of a similar story. I mean, I was getting in trouble all through college. I'm sure you might have skated by. I don't know how.
I got away with some things, but no. But everybody has some events that you're like, oh shit, that I didn't get to that point, but it could have gone that way, and it makes you think like, oh fuck, now I got to kind of not walk the straight and narrow, but I know there's more for me. Like I can't fuck this up.
What was that Instagram quote I sent you today? I think it was like, if you're not facing bankruptcy every 4 years as an entrepreneur, you're not going hard enough.
Yeah.
I don't really want to face bankruptcy, but I mean, you're risking it all, right? And you're really
100%.
and you had your back against the wall. It's like, it can't get worse than where I'm at today. So why not go all in, right?
Exactly. And I think, dude, at the end of the day, it's just like, how bad do you want it, right? It was like, what are you willing to do to get what you want? And like, I think for me at that point, it was like, whatever it takes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I was working all day, every day, banging the phones in real estate, trying to source deals. And then I was working in the restaurants all night, right? And then I would take all my extra money and I would just spend it on marketing to generate more leads. And I did that over and over and over for like 9 months. Most people would quit, right? But like, my back was against the wall and I was like, by any means necessary, like, I'm gonna make this shit happen. And it's funny because like a lot of people, especially when they're starting their entrepreneurial journey, there's like so many people that are like, oh, that's not real. You can't do that. You're wasting your time. You're this, you're that, like whatever. And that's something that like so many people face, right? But people have to understand that like when people are giving you the type of feedback, like they mean well, they just don't know, right? Like, how are you going to take advice from someone that hasn't done what you want to do? It hasn't been to where you want to be. So I think it's important, especially like if you're a newer entrepreneur, you're just getting started, like you're going to have family, friends that like they doubt you. They try and talk you out of it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not necessarily like a malicious thing, or they're trying to like, talk down to you, but more so they're like, they've never traveled that path. Right. So they're scared for you to do that. And right, they want to almost kind of keep you on that straight and narrow. But like at the end of the day, it's like, dude, we got big dreams. We got big goals, right? Like, you got to take some risks. So
did you have a partner?
No.
Wow. See, because me and Dave, I feel like our story is almost exactly the same, but at least we had each other, Yeah. Because for that 9 months where we made no money and we're in the office till 1 a.m, it was like, I got you, bro. I believe in you. And he's like, I believe in you too. We're going to figure this shit out. Yeah. For you to do that on your own, bro, like that's a lonely place. Yeah. I feel like.
I mean, dude, it's hard, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, growing up, like my father was an alcoholic, right? So it just like being in that type of environment at a young age, like just really made like my mentality just like rock solid. Like I don't give a fuck what's going on around me. I just know what I want and where I'm going, and I just stay focused on that. And regardless of what happens, right? Like, especially when you're starting a business, dude, there's tons of ups and downs, and emotions are like roller coasters. But it's like, dude, as long as you keep your eyes on the prize, right, and you know what you're going after, dude, nothing else fucking matters. Literally nothing else matters, right? As long as you know and you're brainwashing yourself like, yo, by any means necessary. Like, you could throw anything at me, and I don't. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, right? But that's how you have to be if you're going to be a successful entrepreneur, if you're going to be successful in business, if you're going to be successful in real estate, right? Like, you have to be okay with taking L's. You have to be okay with, like, that up and down roller coaster, because, like, that's what business is, right? And I love that shit, right? But you have to, like, be prepared to go through that, right? And just say, yo, by any means necessary, like, we're going to get to where we want to go, so.